What's up, everybody? Welcome to Kinda Funny Games Daily for a Wednesday, September 7th, 2022. I'm one of your hosts, Greg Miller, alongside the man, the myth, the legend, Jeff Gertsmann. Hello,
Woo!
Jeff.
Hey, Greg. Hi. I'm happy to be here.
I'm glad you could finally pencil me in. You know?
Yeah.
You make this big stink. You're going independent. You're doing this thing. You're bootstrapping it. I'm there, day one in the Twitch chat. Whatever you need, let me know. And you're like, I'll get back to you.
Yeah.
It's been months.
It
turns
been
months without a word.
It turns out when you do this all by yourself, you really are doing this all by yourself.
It's a little busier than some might think. Yeah.
You should see the list of things I'm behind on that like have like dollars attached to them and stuff. It's just like, oh, I still need to start I guess I need to register an S corp.
Yeah.
I'm not sure what that is, but
from the way Nick talks about it, it's a shell corporation, so that if you get sued, that goes out of business and not you personally.
That sounds great. That sounds awesome. I'm all for it.
That's why we keep all our money in the Cayman Islands. That's
smart.
Avoiding that stuff. Yeah,
that's
exactly.
Smart.
It's business. It's business. Don't worry about it. How long have you been independent right now with the Jeff Gertsmann show? Of course, patreon.com/Jeff Gertsmann.
Yeah, I launched it in June, and kind of all at once, and yeah, it's a whole new podcast and set of streams and a YouTube channel and all that sort of stuff, and a cobbled together list of URLs that point to 9 different platforms and all of this other stuff. You can go to guard.bike if you want the YouTube channel. You can go to dopeassvideogames.com if you want the Patreon. Yeah, it's a mess. It's a mess.
But it's you, you know?
Yes,
it's you.
It's my mess.
It's exactly what you want. How are you enjoying it, being independent once again?
It's great. It's so it is much needed after a lot of years of answering to other people who, are maybe not moving as fast as I want to move in some cases. Like, this is a smaller operation, but I make all the choices, and that's there's positives and negatives to that whole thing, but yeah, it's definitely it's going great. I'm at a point now where I'm like, okay, I need to kind of just like finish getting my feet under me a little bit on some of like this company stuff, and then it's like, okay, I probably need to hire someone for some number of hours a week to come in and do YouTube thumbnails, social, like a handful of other things like that. So doing great to the point where I'm like, yeah, I probably need to expand. I probably need to build an offsite office in my side yard that I can decorate properly, and so that isn't just this extra bedroom in the house.
I was gonna say, like this bedroom with the baby bassinet in the background. That's not a great office space.
I mean, he's gonna move upstairs to his proper bedroom pretty soon here. This is just because he's been super young, and so that my wife can sleep. He sleeps down here with me, and then we all get up at 4 a.m. for breastfeeding and all that sort of stuff, and yeah.
I mean, you got the sign that says video games, and I feel like that's enough. I think
that drives it home. That knows. If you just walked in on the screenshot, this guy talks about video games. I need interesting.
Yeah, this is. I need to let people know A, what this is about, and B, I'm serious with it. It's a nice sign.
100%.
I did not make it 5 minutes before stream started. It's a nice sign.
That's a very nice sign. And it's a sign of the times because we're about to talk about games. We're going to talk about a bunch of big Assassin's Creed leaks, Splatoon 3 reviews popping all over the Squid Kids, and so much more because this is Kinda Funny Games Daily. Each and every weekday on a variety of platforms, we run you through the nerdy video game news you need to know about. If you like that, be part of the show on patreon.com/kindafunnygames. On patreon.com/kindafunnygames, you can write in to be part of the show. You can get the show ad-free. You can get the show with the exclusive post-show we do each and every weekday. And of course, you can get a bevy of other benefits like watching us record the Gamescast, Xcast, PS I Love You live, the page, you get the one with the kids, the next gen podcast, you get all the cool stuff, and man, there's some more cool stuff coming, ladies and gentlemen, because that's what we do on patreon.com/kindafunnygames. But if you have no bucks to toss our way, it's no big deal. You can support us a number of free ways, including the Epic Game Store. Use the creator code KindaFunny when you're playing Fortnite, Rocket League, when you're buying something off the Epic Game Store, when you're playing Rumbleverse, a game I quite enjoy. You use that, you buy whatever you want to buy. We get it. You might, even when you put it in, Jeff, you put in the creator code and you download a game for free, somehow that still benefits us. I don't know.
And they have to enter it, like, what is it? Like once every 28 days, they got to enter it again? Like it sticks for a while, too.
Yeah, exactly. But pay attention. Make sure you're doing it. Just like your Twitch Prime. Remember, if you have Amazon Prime, you got Twitch Prime, but they don't want you to use it. Every 30 days it expires. You get one free subscription. Maybe you're a UPS driver listening to a podcast right now. I guarantee you have Amazon Prime. When you get home, give it to Kinda Funny Games on twitch.tv/KindaFunnyGames. That's the thing, too. So if you're watching the show and you want it for free, you can watch it live, twitch.tv/KindaFunnyGames, just like Stays Crunchy and Milk, PJ, Julian, and Omega Buster are. If you're watching live, you have a special job. Go to kindoffunny.com/you're wrong to tell us what we screw up as we screw it up so we can set the record straight for everybody watching later on youtube.com/kindoffunnygames, roosterteeth.com, and listening on podcast services around the globe each and every weekday. Housekeeping for you. It turns out Andy's a fucking liar. The KFFL.
That's the motherfucker.
You know, you expect it from him.
Okay.
The Kind of Funny Football League has been put on hold until September 9th. Too many of y'all signed up.
A doping scandal.
I know. Andy had a hell of a time organizing and getting all the players together, and we'd love to have the show later this week, but Blessing has to host something or whatever. So Monday is the day. Also, if you get signed up and haven't, if you signed up to have you, what happened is, Jeff, we're doing like KF wrestling, right? Where we're making all these people and things. Mm-hmm. And so then yesterday, Andy had the great idea to go, oh, well, if you gift subs, you know, you can either be in the roster of the football team or I'll make you in the thing. And then he said it when he thought it was a high price and it wasn't. And like 25 kids said yes. And now he's got to make 25 people in Madden. I guess that's way more difficult than he expected. So if you haven't responded to your Twitch whispers yet, you have to get on that to be made in the game.
These are good problems to have.
Yeah,
a nice robust league.
It's just like, you know,
players.
No matter, it's what, 7.5 coming up on 8 years of Kind of Funny, and we are just still the garbage truck on fire. You're talking about the problems of being independent, you know. What did Andy say in the chat?
65 people signed up, so he's got to somehow fit 65 people into an NFL league.
What an idiot! Why did he set it so low? What was he thinking? In the meeting last week, I told him just say you'll change the people who already exist. Change their name on the roster. And he said that was a great idea. And then the next thing I know, he's got to make people from scratch.
Well, he was talking to me about it last night, and it's definitely a little more complicated than just like putting their name on someone. It's all about like what team do they want to be on.
But you see, Barrett, that's the thing. What I pitched him was just if they gift them a number of subs, you put them on the 49ers by just changing the name of an existing player.
And he also asked Jeff, do you want to be in the league? Do you want to be in the KFFL?
You don't have to give us any money for this, Jeff. We're just putting other industry people in the league.
Sure, yeah.
What team do you want to represent?
Let's see. How about how about the Chargers?
Okay, that sounds good. Andy can make that happen, I'm sure.
There's
I mean, it may delay it another week. We may be here on the 9th talking about it happening on the 16th, but it will happen eventually.
Okay.
All right. Andy says lovely. Back to it. Thank you to our Patreon producer, Fargo Brady. Today we're brought to you by ExpressVPN and Chime, but we'll tell you about that later. For now, let's begin the show with what is and forever will be the Roper Report. Time for some news. 6 items on the Roper Report.
A baker's dozen.
Jeff, you've been in this industry more than 5 years. Would it surprise you if I told you it looks like Assassin's Creed games have leaked?
What?
I know. Number 1 on the Roper Report, Ubisoft is about to announce several new Assassin's Creed games. This is Jason Schreier over at Bloomberg. Ubisoft will announce several new games in the Assassin's Creed franchise Saturday, including one set in feudal Japan, according to media reports and people familiar with the company's plans. Ubisoft has teased the idea that new titles will be announced at its Ubisoft Forward event on Saturday, saying it will reveal, quote, a peek at the future of the franchise. The company plans to showcase a mobile title and 2 major games, said the people, who asked not to be named, discussing private information. The first major game, codenamed Red, will be developed by Ubisoft Quebec City office, is set in Japan.
Taylor's version. Assassin's Creed Taylor's version.
Oh my God, I'd buy it in a heartbeat. The second major game, codenamed Neo or Hexy, and developed by Ubisoft Montreal's office, is set during the latter stages of the Holy Roman Empire and revolves around witch trials. Both Red and Neo are part of Assassin's Creed Infinity, a platform for future games in the series that will contain multiple settings, as Bloomberg reported last year. The 2 games will likely not release until 2024 at the earliest, a Ubisoft spokesperson declined to comment. On Saturday, Ubisoft also plans to show more of Assassin's Creed Mirage, which it announced last week following widespread leaks. That game, codenamed Rift, is set in Baghdad during the 800s and was once an expansion to the previous game Valhalla before it was converted to a full game. Bloomberg reported earlier this year. Assassin's Creed Mirage will veer away from the role-playing game elements established in recent series entries and instead aim to return to the stealth focus of early titles in which players sneak around to perform assassinations. Jeff, does Assassin's Creed still do it for you?
It did, and then it didn't, and then it did again, and now it doesn't again. If that makes any sense. Up until Assassin's Creed Brotherhood came out, I was like, this is one of the greatest series in gaming.
Sure.
And then I feel like it completely fell off. to the point where I was just like, I don't care about, like, the early parts of that franchise. I care about Desmond and his weird
Hell yeah.
story,
Hell yeah.
and I thought that stuff was really exciting, and then they got away from it for whatever reason, and then they rebuilt it into this big old gigantic, even bigger open world with more of the RPG elements and more of the kind of character growth stuff. And that was a cool direction for them to go in, and I don't want to see another one of those at this point. Like those games, like I forget what the first one even was.
Origins.
Origins, yeah.
Origins, Odyssey, Valhalla were all have been
Origins,
the RPG
Odyssey,
ones
Valhalla.
so far.
Right.
Yeah.
So Valhalla for me was the breaking point of just like I am having trouble caring about this style of game anymore.
Yeah, but I Origins didn't click for me. I adored Odyssey and played the
Yeah.
hell out of it. And then Valhalla, I've also played the hell out of. Like I think my clock's at 65 or 70 hours. I put in some obscene amount on top of what I already put in during paternity leave. But it's still just it's like I'm just eating at the buffet. Like I don't know what's going on with Eivor in this story. I don't really care. I'm just running around because the gameplay's fun and it's beautiful.
Checking off the boxes, doing the thing, and of course. And so I think that I would love for them to do something, another complete reinvention of what those games are. And so Infinity, at least, I don't know. This also sounds like way too much Assassin's Creed. So Mirage, if they're going to really return to some of the stealth focus and some of that stuff, that sounds potentially interesting to me.
Yeah.
But the idea of taking Assassin's Creed and turning it into a platform, and all that sort of stuff, all that depends on what they actually do to the video game itself, the gameplay, the progression, all of that. If they're doing more to it than just taking this existing framework and blowing it up even bigger, then we'll see. But
so I'm obviously coming off of Valhalla. I'm with you that that was too much and it's too big, and I don't need that kind of experience. So yes, Mirage speaks to me of like, okay, cool, this will be interesting and maybe a palate cleanser if we are, as this talks about, going back to these the first major game, codenamed Red, blah blah blah. Like if that's part of Infinity, it sounds like again Mirage is that smaller experience like original Assassin's Creed, and then Red and Neo/Hex would be the ones that are the bigger ones in part of Infinity. But the fact that they're part of Infinity makes me hope that even if they bring that back, they make it smaller. You know what I mean? Where it is like, all right, cool, you still have the RPG mechanics, you still have the level trees out, but not the obscene skill tree that was Valhalla.
Yeah,
where I'm going through and putting the points in. And
if they're making these two big chunks of games and calling them part of the Infinity platform, does that mean each individual chunk itself is smaller? So even if it has those mechanics in it, is it still like bite-sized is not the word, but is it more like a solid 40 hours instead of just like, you could put 200 hours into this? And you're like that's crazy. So maybe that would be an improvement as well. I think just something about the very nature of them trying to look at Assassin's Creed as a platform in this Infinity thing, and we don't have all the details yet, but that concept to me, that does not fill me with hope. Like that doesn't sound like the direction I would want out of Assassin's Creed. But like I've kind of fell off the franchise anyway. So
what about settings for you? Obviously, codenamed Red, developed by Ubisoft Quebec City, and set in Japan. I get excited off of that. I am one of the people who's been like forever, I've wanted an Assassin's Creed in Japan, let alone brought to you by the team that did Odyssey. I am like, ooh, okay, like that sounds awesome.
Yeah, I think that's got some huge potential. It felt like Japan was like it was like every couple of years someone would be like, this is going to be the Japan one, and then it wouldn't end up happening.
And then Sucker Punch came in and like, we'll do it.
Right,
you
it's
can't
like,
do it. We'll do it
we
for
got
you.
this. Yeah, like we got this. So, I mean, is what they're making going to end up being better than Ghost? I'm probably not, but yeah, I think that's a great setting for a game that hasn't been done to death, to be honest. And so I think that's cool on its own.
That's the other interesting thing about it. When like, okay, fine, you're finally doing it. Theoretically, this is all rumored. We'll find out Saturday, but you're finally doing it. Awesome. Can you beat Ghost of Tsushima at it? You know what I mean? They did such an amazing job with it. So it's like we kind of got what we wanted. And like, how do you come in and make that not feel like, oh, it's just another Assassin's Creed game?
Exactly. And I think for me, there's a part of it that gets back to what does it mean to be an Assassin's Creed game anymore, where we can take a game like Ghost of Tsushima that is, not that different from Horizon. Like just structurally, it's like, here's this open world action adventure game. Whereas like early Assassin's Creed was very much about like, no, you're building to this target, you're doing this thing. And that gave it such a different feel from all these other games. Like I would love to see Assassin's Creed mean something like the name instead of just like something they throw on yet another big open world game.
And that's the interesting one too, where you pivot over then to the second major game, codenamed Neo or Hex. Would you say Hex or Hexy? Hexe?
Yeah, Hexe. I don't know.
Hexa?
Where is it being developed? That probably will
This
indicate.
is Montreal.
Yeah, ask someone from Canada. They would know.
Shit. I think my baby's sleeping. I'll call my wife though. We'll call my wife because I don't want to. Because I scream up there, then I'm in trouble. Everybody, you know what I mean?
Yeah, no, I know what you mean.
These babies, they all eat.
This is
I'm gonna guess it comes from. It's gonna be a weird one where it comes from the throat, like Hex.
It's like very guttural somehow.
Yeah.
Miller, hello.
Hello, Jean-Vive Saint Ange Miller. You are on Kind of Funny Games Daily with Jeff Gertsmann, but you can't hear him.
Good morning.
He says hi. He said hi. Well, yeah, but I also communicate, Jeff.
Great.
If you say something.
Okay. All right.
We are reading this story about rumored Assassin's Creed games, and we're trying to figure out how to pronounce this code name. And it's happening in Ubisoft Montreal, so we thought you would have clarification for us. Okay.
Okay, sure, go ahead.
The second major game is codenamed Neo or Hex, but it could be Hexe. It's Hexe. Is there a weird French pronunciation we should know for Hexy?
No.
Okay, so you think it's Hex or is it Hexy or Hexa?
I'll leave that up to you. I don't know.
Oh, thanks for nothing, Jen. God damn it. You know what I mean? Why even have her?
She knows something.
I hired her specifically to help me with these
She knows the truth.
God damn it. Anyways, Hexa set around the Holy Roman Empire and revolves around witch trials. Okay.
Sure, that's different. Like,
yeah, exactly.
That's a different setting. Like they're gonna if they're at least they're attacking different parts of history and different elements of that sort of stuff, and the framework that they've had for a while lets them do that. And I imagine whatever the kind of overarching framework for Infinity probably allows for that even more, right? It's just like, here's the Abstergo building. Now here's 9 Animuses, and only 2 of them work right now, but someday you'll be able to buy access to the third Animus.
When you get your Helix credits, you'll be able to come over here and power this one for a limited amount of time to go experience that thing. But if you go out there and generate your Helix credits, it's gonna
get your murder pass plus 20 tiers.
Oof. And so we'll see. It's gonna be interesting because, like you said, this is a lot. This is a lot to announce. So if this is all accurate, which you assume it is, how much do we see of all this stuff? Because I assume this is going to be very much like Mirage. You know what I mean? They've already confirmed Mirage. They've already given the key art. They've said we're going to hear about it. So I expected a deep dive on Mirage rather than also Infinity and Red and Hexe.
But I think, like they probably have to tell the story about what Infinity truly is and how that will work. But, or they don't. I mean, they could just focus on, hey, it's Japan, and then worry about how you will pay for it, access it, whatever Infinity is later.
Sure.
But
even
personally,
for it to be 2024 at the earliest, according to Jason, I also don't think we're going to see too much if they talk about it.
Exactly. It's here's 3 seconds of a dude stabbing a guy or jumping off a building, and you go, oh, it's Japan. That was a Japan building.
Did you see? Yeah, did you see the tower? That was Japan. Awesome.
Oh.
Can't wait to synchronize on all of those.
Oh man, yeah.
Speaking of Ubisoft, number 2 in the Roper Report, speaking of Ubisoft, number 2 in the Roper Report, Tencent increases investment in Ubisoft. This is Brendan Sinclair at GamesIndustry.biz. Ubisoft announced a partnership between Tencent and the Guillemot Brothers Limited that will see the Chinese tech firm indirectly increase its stake in the publisher. Tencent is investing $297 million into GBL for a 49.9% stake in the company, which owned almost 13% of Ubisoft shares before this deal. It will also provide GBL, which I love because it sounds like we're talking about JBL, with a long-term unsecured loan that could be used to buy a larger chunk of Ubisoft. With the deal, Tencent has joined the Guillemot family concert, which includes GBL and the individual Guillemot family members. Collectively, this group can own up to 29.9% of Ubisoft shares with voting
and
rights.
they're a wrestling god on top of that.
And they're right, yeah, exactly. They roll into the limo with the big horns on front. After the completion of this deal, the Guillemot family concert would own 24.9% of voting shares. The deal only gives Tencent 5% of voting rights in GBL, but no seat on the board of directors or consent to veto rights in the operation of the business. However, in connection with the deal, Ubisoft's board of directors has given Tencent permission to increase its directly owned stake in Ubisoft from 4.5% to just under 10%. Here's the part Blessing highlighted. Tencent will not be able to sell its shares for 5 years, nor will it be able to increase its stake beyond that 10% threshold for 8 years. Quote, with the expansion of the concert with Tencent further reinforces Ubisoft's core shareholding around its founders and provides the company with the stability essential for its long-term development, said Ubisoft CEO and GBL director Yves Guillemot. That's high-level business right there, but Tencent owns more of Ubisoft.
Yeah, basically. They own the Guillemot brothers. just under halfway. And so I don't know. This seems like, it was 2015 when Vivendi was trying to take over.
And when I bring that up, Jeff, I feel like I'm talking about ancient history.
Yeah.
Because I remember that moment. Vivendi was trying to do the hostile takeover. The Gimel family, Yves was out there being like, hey, we're trying to make Ubisoft great. And then and it really was when they pivoted. And I think a Ubisoft game became a Ubisoft game of open world checklist. This is what we're doing. It's going big. And you saw it on so many different franchises. And people loved that at the start. And now I think we keep having this conversation. I'd love to have your opinion on it of like, what is a Ubisoft game anymore? Are there Ubisoft games people are super stoked for? Like there is Assassin's Creed and there is Rainbow Six, but all of them just seem like the juice isn't there anymore.
Yeah, I don't know. Like the that last Far Cry was a game that I liked a little bit more than I think everyone around me at the time did, and then I played a little bit more of it, and I was like, oh wait, I don't want to play any more of this either. Like they definitely fell into that trap where every game became that. Like even stuff like Steep, when they're like, let's do an action sports, extreme sports thing, it's still this kind of big, expansive open world, and like that's cool up to a point, but
yeah,
it got to a point where every game just felt similar enough.
They've lost their identity.
Yeah, exactly. And then, you have like a Mario and Rabbids that would come out occasionally here and there. Or the, what was the game? The Toys to Life game with the spaceships that they did.
Oh my God. Starfield.
I
want to say Starfield. That's not right. Shit. God damn it.
Starlink.
Starlink. Yes.
That turned into a Star Fox game.
Yeah. And so they have these little bits and pieces here that aren't that, but generally speaking, it felt like all of their biggest franchises just fell down the rabbit hole of like quadrupling down on what made an open world Ubisoft game. And yeah, I think that all that stuff came together. It's too similar. And I think that it tarnished every single one of their franchises to varying degrees. Now, of course, remember, they also tried to say like, oh, we're going to do a Tom Clancy. It's not a battle royale, but it was kind of, and they had to cancel that because people hated it so much. They still have like that X-Defiant, like, Call of Duty-esque looking thing out there in some form of, they ran betas for that a while back.
Yesterday we talked about for Ubisoft that they launched a mobile battle royale yesterday, or it was a new mobile shooter. Yeah, it was battle royale, but it was like supposed to be a Far Cry game, but got scrapped. And it was like none of that matters, but it was like this thing already launched. Wild Arena Survivors is out. You know what I mean? A Ubisoft battle royale mobile game came out and nobody fucking knew about it. I was like, what?
Yeah, mobile is its own weird set of like, putting out games in weird territories and launching them elsewhere and all that sort of stuff. But yeah, I don't know. Ubisoft just feels like it is like they feel lost to me. They feel like they have made a lot of choice. You still have like stuff like Beyond Good and Evil 2, which they're still claiming exists in some form,
right.
and sure, maybe it does. I don't know, but that's going to be an NFT game by the time they're done. And yeah, they feel like they lost their way, and at least this keeps them from getting taken over by Tencent. Like this kind of locks and handcuffs Tencent a little bit when it comes to their aggression. So of course, not to just business talk some more, but like shares are down because everyone was stoked to see Ubisoft get acquired, and then they're like, oh wait, no, this isn't going to happen, and now whatever. Last time I looked anyway.
Whatever. Today. Yeah, I'm looking at it. Yeah, you're right. It's down 20.44% right now today.
Yeah. So this seems like it shores up some things and lets them tap into a little bit of what Tencent is doing. Also, I think Tencent feels like it is maybe scrambling a little bit around the edges. The Chinese market is weird. Like there's just a lot of weird stuff happening out there right now with obviously Tencent's been taking positions in companies for a very long time. And I wonder if we'll see that step up just for them to continue to diversify outside of China, because that market seems really strange right now too. And at the end of the day, what does this mean for the actual games? Probably not much, but if it gives them capital to keep dumping money into whatever Beyond Good and Evil 2 is, then
I wonder what they'll come back from. In the chat, Blessing Jr. Says Ubisoft seems like they're going through detoxification currently, getting out a lot of bad games that are the results of the old editorial team. And that's an interesting take that does make sense, and if that is true, again, like Assassin's Creed Japan, fuck yeah. Assassin's Creed Witch Trials, all right. I don't, you know what I mean? Like again, I liked Assassin's Creed But I guess I liked this. I loved Assassin's Creed when it was Desmond as well, and when it was Ezio. I love the Ezio trilogy, right? And I platinum AC2 and had a great time with Brotherhood and yada yada yada. But like, I've enjoyed this move to the RPG. Let's not get so hung up on the Templars. Let's not get so hung up on the overall lore. Let's let you be a character and have fun. So if they are if Infinity is going to be, here are big episodes, but episodic jumps into history to do stuff. And then if they are going to do stuff like Mirage, which is like, hey, we are going to try to serve the audience that does still want to be a straight up assassin, that could be cool. That could work, I think, and cover you.
Yeah, and I think the franchise is big enough to support all that stuff. Like they've written a lore that supports all of these different territories and all of these different styles of games. So if they can find ways to serve multiple audiences with that franchise, then great. Like that's like I'm not like initially excited about another big Assassin's Creed game, but a smaller one focused on stealth. That could get me back on the fold. And I think Blessing is right. Like, yeah, there's just a lot of stuff that has probably been in the works for way too long that they've just got to purge and just get all the bad ideas out. And then maybe on the other end of that, they can kind of refine their footing. Of course, remember, like also this is 3 years of pandemic and all sorts of other stuff too, impacting, games' ability to move forward. And they work on big games with some of the biggest teams in the business. And so just coordinating work from home for like, what is it, 1,300 people or something. I'm sure that's a mess.
Now we're going to take a turn where I bet you didn't think this podcast was going to go. Jeff Gertsmann, do you do the stock market? You play the stocks? You play the ponies?
No. I have some like from 401k stuff.
Yeah, 401k garbage.
It's no longer that because I don't have an employer that the guy. I have a person.
now it's a Roth IRA. Yeah, I know.
Yeah,
that well.
Yes, exactly.
I know that one well.
Yes.
Yeah.
And so I have someone who handles that, and she does a great job of watching that market. She'll tell me things like, hey, like for example, like, hey, the Chinese market is really weird right now. And for a while there was some concern like, well, are they going to be emboldened by the moves in Ukraine to then go move on Hong Kong? And then, so there's interesting stuff like that. But no, directly, hell no, I don't want any part of it. And I think as a reporter, it would like a reporter, but like in my position, it would be really gross for me to have like stock in a game company.
Yeah, that's always been my argument too when it comes up of like, I wouldn't. But I do want to point this out because I infamously said on a Kind of Funny Games Daily when GameStop was on the ropes, and it was like it's selling for $1.50 and it might get delisted. I was like, you know what? That actually, I don't know shit about it, and I wouldn't do it because I have to disclose every time I do it. If I did it, like I think that's a pretty good. And then people, 9 months later, were like, if you would have listened to Greg, you would have made 350% back over your thing right now. Looking at Ubi right now, right? Like I wasn't paying. You look at the day that it's down today 20% or whatever. But then you look back, like yesterday at noon, it was trading at 990. Now it's at 716. You go back a month, right? Like they have a whole bunch you go back a year, like the high, it was at $12 in January. Like I'm just saying, like, Ubisoft's not going out of business tomorrow. They're going to announce a bunch more fucking big ass games. So it might make sense for you to fucking buy Ubisoft stuff.
And today's drop is based on pure speculation about like it's disappointment about the company getting acquired and then that not happening. So like it's built on this event. Like, this move probably helps make that company a little bit more stable and gives them a little bit more room to move freely. And so that's probably a good thing for the company, even if the share price is taking a short-term hit.
So I don't know what I'm talking about. And I'm not saying to put all your college investments into it. I'm just saying. Whatever. Definitely also, don't. The chat was saying I look pink. So definitely don't, Barrett. You think definitely don't. You don't think Ubisoft will ever be above 716 again? Well, not your whole life savings. Is that what you're saying? Definitely don't do that.
Don't put your college savings in that.
I will back off. Barrett,
don't.
I genuflect. I apologize. I'm not as pink anymore. I've fixed my lights.
It's like when, the one time I was in a Vegas airport back when I was making minimum wage, and my mom was like, oh, you should go gamble. I was like, no, the money I have left is to buy lunch, mother. I can't do that. Don't do that. Don't do that.
I remember, I won't name names, but I remember going to a Vegas press event. And it was like, the old Midway days, Jeff, where it was like, all right, cool. Come out here for 4 fucking days and you'll see one thing and it'll be great.
Yep.
And I remember we were just doing whatever, walking around the casino. And we walked over to a roulette table and the guy I was with put $100 on black and lost. And it was like, I always do that. And I was like, you are a fucking crazy person. You understand how hand to mouth I am right now? You think I would ever walk up to a table with $100 now?
The last time I gambled, so I had just gotten out of a relationship, and then me and a friend went to Vegas for about a week and a half, which is way too long to go to Las Vegas. He was dating a flight attendant, and so she was based out of Vegas. And so The day we got there, I sat down and played some 3-card poker with him, and I'd allocated like, I don't know, $300. Like, I'm going to lose this money, and this is my gambling money. I lost that in about 15 minutes.
Yep.
And then went back the next day because I was like, well, I'm here too long to not throw more money away. And then I went back the next day, the same table, got more money, and actually made all that money back and then some, covered the cost of the entire trip, and I have not gambled since. That was
nice.
2002 or 1 or something.
That's the way to go out. Yeah. I tried to get my wife when we were in Vegas like 3 dices ago to go out on top because she was doing blackjack, and I did the same thing. I busted. I was way out. We were playing video blackjack, so you have to actually interact with anybody.
Nice.
And you know, Jen, the gambling fiend, was up like $50, and I was like, "Let's just stop. Let's go." And then of course she said no, and she lost it all.
Mm-hmm.
You got to respect it. And that's why we need your support on patreon.com/kindoffunnygames, everybody. We gave a lot of money away. I'm just kidding. We don't. We actually spend it to hire people and have cool things happen and do cool stuff like the studio that will one day open maybe in 2025. If you want to support us over there, that'd be great. You'd get the show ad free. You'd be able to write in. You'd get the post show. You could be a Patreon producer. You could watch us record the other shows live. But I digress. Right now, this would have gotten you this show ad free, but you're not on Patreon. So here's a word from our sponsor.
This episode is brought to you by ExpressVPN. Using the internet without ExpressVPN is like checking in your baggage at the airport without a lock. You don't know who's looking through all your stuff, finding all of your Nintendo Switches, your PlayStation Vitas, or all the other things that you're hiding in there. When you go online without a VPN, internet service providers, ISPs, can see every single website you visit. They can legally sell this information without your consent. Nobody wants that. That sounds like a bad time for everybody. You can browse more anonymously. It's easy to use, and it works on all devices. I love ExpressVPN. It is super simple to use. I feel safe across all of my devices, knowing that whether I'm on my desktop or my mobile phone, people aren't getting in there. I'm safe on the internet, and what I look at, what I browse, that's mine. That's for me to know. Secure your online activity by visiting expressvpn.com/kindafunny today. That's expressvpn.com/kindafunny. And you can get an extra 3 months free. expressvpn.com/kindafunny. Next up, shout out to Chime. Like a cool breeze, Chime is a refreshing way to handle your money. There's no monthly fees, no maintenance fees, and no minimum balance fees. So it's how banking should be done. And when you need access to your money, you can do so fee-free at more than 60,000 in-network ATMs at many locations like most Walgreens or 7-Elevens. You can also send money to anyone, even if they aren't on Chime, fee-free for you and no cash out fees for them. Chime, no monthly fees, no vibe killing fees. Sign up for a Chime checking account. It only takes 2 minutes and it doesn't affect your credit score. You can get started at chime.com/KFgames. That's chime.com/KFgames. Chime is a financial technology company, not a bank. Banking services provided by and debit card issued by the Bancorp Bank or Stride Bank NA. Members FDIC. Out-of-network ATM withdrawal fees apply except at MoneyPass ATM in a 7-Eleven location and at all Allpoint or Visa Plus Alliance ATM. Other fees such as third-party and cash deposit fees may apply. Chime.com/KFgames.
Number 3 on the Roper Report, Xbox Elite 2 controllers will be customizable in the Xbox Design Lab later this year. This is Tom Warren at The Verge. Microsoft is bringing its Xbox Elite 2 controllers to the company's Xbox Design Lab later this year. Xbox owners will be able to order custom color variants of the Xbox Elite 2 in the same way they currently can for the existing Xbox Series S/X controllers. Quote, player choice has always been at the core of the Elite Series design philosophy. This is why we're excited to announce that we will be bringing the Elite Wireless Series 2 controllers to the Xbox Design Lab later this holiday, explains Daniel Ruiz, Senior Marketing Manager for Xbox Accessories. We'll have more details to share at a later date. The announcement that Xbox Elite 2 controllers are coming to the Design Lab arrives just after Microsoft announces the more affordable Xbox Elite 2 Core controller. The Core model is priced at $129.99, but doesn't ship with the usual interchangeable components. These have to be purchased separately. Jeff, you give a shit about Xbox Elite controllers?
I stopped using mine. I think the Elite Series
performance
2
enhancing drugs. You didn't need them. You don't need them.
Exactly. I got to get off the juice here. I got off of I got off of the Elite Series 2 because I found that most of what so this Core controller for $129 actually works out because I only ever used the base accessories. You know, it comes with like 9 different sticks and
Paddles and
paddles and all
things,
this sort of
yeah.
stuff. But like I was mostly just using the default kind of D-pad configuration that they ended up using for the Series X and S controller.
Yeah.
And so I eventually went to this because it's just a lighter controller. I don't have to keep a battery in it because I keep it wired.
Nice.
And so it's a nice lightweight controller that I think works great on PC and works great on Xbox as well. And so that's become my controller of choice. I think the Series 2 is a good controller, but I just it seems weird to me that they're just like, here's a new color of the Series 2 that's not going to come with the stuff, as opposed to here's a Series 3 or here's a full redesign, or well, I guess maybe they're just like, whatever, we got it right. And they
Crushed
don't need
it.
to do it. But
No
yeah,
notes.
nailed it. Yep. But yeah, I don't know. That controller a little bit heavier. Like it's nice. It's heavy duty and all that sort of stuff. But yeah, I don't use it anymore. I just don't need that.
I know Snow Mike keeps buying them because he keeps breaking them. So he's gotta be
I don't
excited
think
about
they've
this.
gotten it right because he keeps breaking his Series.
That's true. The one of the rubber grip on mine, because they're kind of, this is not a good example, but like right on here where it was rubber covered, like that kind of lifted up, and so I was like, well, I'm just going to inject a bunch of super glue in here and then hold it tight for a little bit, and that mostly worked. But yeah, you've definitely heard of a lot of stories of people having trouble with Elite controllers falling apart, and
Snow Mike in the chat says I've had 5 controllers, they break easy.
Yeah,
5 controllers, Mike.
That's a lot.
I mean, he's also just throwing controllers around,
Yeah,
like,
you know how angry he gets.
And so I think they are saying that they are trying to make some improvements with the internals, or like they're really non-specific about it, but they're like, we've continued to work on it and it comes with a warranty. So it's like a weird kind of wink and nod to like acknowledging that, hey, maybe these things were not great out of the gate.
Listen, did we break it? Did you break it? It doesn't matter. We're gonna take care of it. Don't worry about it.
We'll handle it. Just don't matter.
It.
Did you also see that as part of this release, they are selling what they are calling the Xbox Elite Core white jersey?
No,
they're selling a $100 jersey.
Oh God, Mike, how many have you bought, Mike? Oh God.
And so it is meant to pair with your Elite controller because it has a magnetic strip on the jersey, and you could take the metal D-pads and sticks and stuff and stick them to your shirt.
Don't do this,
so that they're ready for you at any moment.
Oh no.
And also it's a Velcro patch on the side if you want to go that route. It's $100.
Mike,
you gotta come in. Mike, come in here and tell us if you're buying this. I know you are. You know he is. He's gonna demagnetize his hard drive with it.
Yeah, exactly. Like, don't wear a magnet around. Like,
he's gonna graze his computer. And it's over.
But it's not a good look. It's not a good fit for Mike, or for anybody.
It says Xbox. It's a weird jersey. Of course, Mike's gonna buy it. Don't worry about
it. There's much better things that he could be wearing, like the Kind of Funny camouflage hoodie that we just put up on kindoffunny.com.
I'm sure he already bought that too, rather than ask for it. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome the host of the Kind of Funny Xcast, the one, the only, the master of hype, Snowbike, Mike. Mike, how you feeling about this jersey?
Oh, I'm feeling so hot right now about this jersey. First off, Jeff, hello. Pleasure to meet you. Really
Good
awesome.
To meet you too.
Jeff, I am irresponsible with my money. So I see this and I say, hell yeah, I'm about to buy it. You put a magnet on a gaming jersey? I need that. So yes, Greg, I will buy this right now in the background.
Now, Mike, do you intend to keep the Elite controller pieces? Are you the sort of person that needs to swap out, like, oh, well, this is a stealth mission, so I need to put this D-pad on, or this, right? Like, do you ever switch parts mid-game? That seems like insanity.
Jeff, I am actually that jabroni that does that. I switch my controller up all the time. When I'm playing in the middle of a game or maybe in between breaks, I'm switching up the back paddles, the D-pad all the time. So I was a little wowed by them not having all of the pieces at the beginning. I get it, right? To save a little bit of money and people can use their older controllers. Like Greg said to you, Jeff, I've gone through 5 Xbox Elite controllers now, from Elite Series 1 to 2. They've all broken in different ways, from the rubberized grips to the right bumper to the sticks. They all seem to break a lot faster than I thought. So I have a lot of just backup pieces, Jeff. I just got pieces in my house now.
Yeah, so you need magnets. You need magnets everywhere. That makes sense. Yeah, my Series 1, the bumper broke. My first Series 2, I forget, it was the tabs on the shoulder locks, on the trigger locks, those came off.
Yes, the worst,
and,
right? Oh
yeah, and I still have one in a box that I've yet to open that like I don't need anymore because now I just use a Series S controller and that's been fine.
I heard you say that, Jeff. So you're okay with that, right? Because like for me, I think the back paddles elevated not only my gameplay, but like the controller feel and design and the flow of not having to move my thumb off that right stick to hit the face buttons. That I don't think I can ever go back to face buttons on a normal controller. It's back buttons forever for me.
I'm not a big back button guy until the Steam Deck came out and I started messing with some of the configuration there and using their back buttons. And that's kind of the first time I've really experimented with it a lot. But you know, yeah, I don't have like when it comes to like a Call of Duty or something like that. Like I can let off the right stick and hit X to reload. It's not, you know, I don't feel like that's like harming my game. I've got a lot of other things in my game I would polish up first before that, I think. But yeah.
All right. Well, Jeff,
Thank
maybe don't buy this. You know what I mean? But I'm going to buy one, Greg. I'm going to buy a
What about the
JBL
jersey?
controller.
I had a big jersey phase, and I loved buying jerseys for sports teams that were not like good or real. So I had a lot of NFL Europe jerseys, and I got some XFL jerseys from the first time
hell yeah.
around.
Yeah.
And
That's
so there's a
Chicago
part of me that
Forces,
is
what
looking
up?
at this and going like, this seems like just the right sort of thing for me, an idiot, to buy.
Yep.
And so there's a part of me that's like,
What was that face?
maybe I'll end up with a jersey. Probably not. Probably not.
Me and Jeff are like that, Greg. We're like that. Come join the Jersey Boys with us. Be a Jersey boy.
I don't want to be a Jersey boy, ladies and gentlemen. But do I
See
want to be a
everybody.
squid kid? Number 4 on the Roper Report is Splatoon 3 review roundup. When we set up the show, it has a Metacritic of 84 and an Open Critic of 84. The only Andy Cortez was trying to play it over this weekend. He'll be talking about it on the Gamescast tomorrow. But right now, reviews look like this. Martin Robinson over at Eurogamer recommends it and says, it's more Splatoon, and I understand if for many that's not quite enough. But also, it is more Splatoon and is a generous new outing for one of the most polished, playable, and impeccably executed series from within Nintendo's group of first-party developers. It's lacking the shock of the new, but with Splatoon 3, you're getting the sense of a special series that's really hitting its stride. It better be fucking hitting the stride 3 games in. Brian Shea over at Game Informer gave it an 8.5, said Splatoon 3 doesn't reinvent the wheel, nor does it need to. Instead, it improves nearly every franchise element in sometimes small but meaningful ways. With an already robust set of content available at launch and at least 2 years of free and premium content on the horizon, Splatoon 3 is simultaneously the series' best entry to date and its most promising. And then rounding it out, Steve Watts at GameSpot gave it a 7. Splatoon 3 isn't quite as novel the third time around, but a great campaign and tons of multiplayer options make it the most robust Splatoon yet. Jeff, you care about Splatoon?
Yeah, I mean,
Oh.
up to a point for sure. Yeah, I played quite a bit of Splatoon 2. Splatoon 1, I had some time with as well, but just, you know, I don't like the tilt controls on it.
Sure.
I don't like playing shooters that way, and I know that's all the rage, all the flick stick stuff and everything that's happening now, but I can't wrap my old man mind around it, I guess. And so I play it a more traditional way, which then just gets me worked. But I am looking forward to Splatoon 3, but you know, yeah, it's not really too shocking that they made more Splatoon. It's kind of weird that Splatoon 2 was also a Switch game and that we're getting another Splatoon on Switch, considering the other franchises that, you know, we tend to get one game per. And also, if you look at Nintendo's kind of strategy with like Mario Kart of like, hey, we're going to support this for another 9,000 years or whatever it is, you know, should Splatoon 2 maybe have gotten more support than it did?
Sure.
But if they're committing to, you know, multiple years of support for Splatoon 3, then maybe this is them going, oh, right, this is how you support an online multiplayer game for a longer period of time.
It's funny you bring that up. Jake Bakes Cakes writes into patreon.com/kindoffunnygames and says, Splatoon 3 is out and it seems to be well received. Is Splatoon 3 behind the times in not adopting a live service model and releasing a new game every few years? Or has it kept the series feeling fresh and relevant in a way that some live service games can't seem to maintain? Which model do you prefer? Thanks for all you do, you two squid kids. Jake Bakes Cakes. Do you think it's, what do you think? Should it have been a live service thing, or do you like this, the way
I
they're
don't
doing
I don't
it?
trust Nintendo to run a live service.
That's
game.
my response too. Anything that's too modern a term. All right.
Yeah.
You should be happy that you're getting 2 years of content from Nintendo. They've committed to that.
Right.
Remember
And
when they had the
know it'll
world?
sell,
They
you
had
know?
the world by the tail with Animal Crossing, and they
Right.
were like, "Cool, that's
Yeah,
it. You
all
got
right,
you
that's
got you
it
got
for
one
that.
more thing, and I hope you
Yeah.
enjoyed it." Like what?
The
What?
holidays will happen again next year if you missed one.
Yeah, like,
Thanks.
don't worry. You can get that pumpkin pile next time around. Like what the
Yeah.
fuck are you talking about?
With just it's a like huge missed opportunity, right? But like, you know, this is the same reason why Call of Duty still sells at full price, and obviously Warzone is split up, you know, because they know they can get it. Like they know that Nintendo fans, that Splatoon fans will go buy, millions of copies of this game at full price and then also buy the DLC. A live service game starts to imply like, oh, is this going to be free to play? Is this going to have like that type of model? And I don't think.
And how often are we checking in on it? How often is it changing up? What are the updates? Right, that's what you're looking for from it. Yeah,
definitely, and so I think that this makes sense for Nintendo in the way that they like to develop games. I think that they're comfortable doing this, and with this type of DLC. The DLC is still a new fun idea for them. So,
totally right. Yeah,
give it another 5-7 years, we'll see something that isn't a mobile game that maybe goes with more of a live service model or something like that. But no.
Splatoon 3 doing pretty well. Out soon. Andy talking about tomorrow. If that's your thing. What I like about it is like they're like it's more Splatoon, and I'm like, cool. I did not vibe with any of them, so I still need to pay attention. Thank you very much. And that's fair,
like I totally get that. Like, and for me, it's a situation where like I will probably get this game and play it for about a month and a half off and on, and then move on. And I probably like they'll put out DLC and I'll be like, whatever. I don't need more of that right now. And but yeah, like I'm excited enough to want to play more of it because it's been a long time since I did that with Splatoon 2. So, sure.
Number 5 on the Roper Report, Nintendo announces a new Pokemon Scarlet and Violet flavored Switch OLED. We go to Ash Parish at The Verge. Seems like whenever a new flagship Nintendo game is about to release, it gets a special edition Switch to go with it. Pokemon Scarlet and Violet are no exception. As today, Nintendo has revealed the orange and grape flavored OLED Switches that will accompany the release of the next major Pokemon title. Burdened with the essentially cumbersome name, the Nintendo Switch OLED model, Pokemon Scarlet and Violet Edition, the OLED Switch launches on November 4th and retails for $359.99, making the fancy paint job featuring Scarlet and Violet's new legendaries Coraidon, and Miraidon worth 10 extra bucks than the regular stark white SWOLED. In addition to the new SWOLED, Nintendo has released a new trailer that gives us even more details on what to expect from the game. The trailer revealed the evil Team Star, a group of rebellious students that seem to live in their own autonomous zone. The trailer also shows off a chunk of the story campaign, which features your student helping an upperclassman find the mysterious Herba Mystica. It'll require venturing into the layers of Pokemon Titans, which seems to mimic the hunt for Pokemon Alphas of Pokemon Legends Arceus.
Finally, y'all got that Herba Mystica?
I got the dankest Herba Mystica you're ever gonna see.
Right. We're gonna have the dispensary.
Never buy a Herba Mystica in a dark alley. Okay,
okay, all right.
Finally, no Pokemon game would be complete without gym battles. Victory Road is where your students face off against talented gym leaders. Not highlighted in the trailer, but mentioned in the accompanying press release, Scarvi will also have a new gameplay feature called Let's Go. According to the press release, the trainer can send out a Pokemon to roam the wilds, pick up items, and auto battle any Mon they might run into, which is great for grinding, but shiny hunters might want to beware. Jeff Gertsmann, are you excited for Scarlet/Violet?
No.
No?
No?
Were you ever a Pokemon person, or are you just burned out?
Yeah, like the first gen, and I played a little bit of Gold and Silver, and then I was watching the anime at that point too. I remember back in the early GameSpot days, we got a copy of the episode that had all the flickering stuff that was the seizure episode, and I put it on in a dark room and put my face up to the TV just to see what would happen. Dude. Yeah, look, this is gonzo journalism.
This is reporting. This is what GameSpot used to be. Lucy James would never.
And so yeah, there was definitely a time where I was all about that Pokemon.
Did you collapse? Wait, what was was there anything that happened or no?
No, nothing.
Okay.
I'm made of sterner stuff, Greg Miller.
They don't build them like these kind of GameSpot games journalists.
And yeah, but at some point I kind of fell off of that stuff, and now lately it just seems like they put out these games and they don't run well, and they're great examples of why the Switch hardware is aging pretty rapidly and all that sort of stuff. The idea of sending out a Pokemon to battle while you're not playing, that could be a neat little touch, a neat little twist, all that sort of stuff, but. No, not really.
You can't rain on my parade. I'm still interested. This is the first Pokemon I think I'm actually excited for because I've never been a Pokemon person, and that probably makes it a little easier to get into it, right? I always screw it up, but the one that came out right before the pandemic, 2019, I played that one with
Sword
Jen.
and Shield.
I rolled credits on Sword and Shield coming back from France, and it was fun to do something and play that game with Jen, but I was like, whatever. The open worldness of Arceus, I enjoyed when I did my demo of it, but I was already late because of Ben, and then they announced this, and I like a modern setting more, so I'm excited to try this one.
Yeah, I think that totally makes sense. I think it's not in the story here, but I assume it is the case given the price that this is yet another special edition Switch that does not come with the game it is a special edition for. which they did that with Animal Crossing. It's just like this really. I think Splatoon is also getting a limited edition Switch.
Falcon tells you you are correct. Yeah,
that
correct.
does not come with Splatoon 3. It's just like I just jack up the price $50. Like make it a thing. Do a $400.
You and I've been around a while. Remember when collector's editions of games came with the game?
Yeah, right.
Now you get the steelbook.
Now you get a steelbook. Here's an empty steelbook for a game that you don't get a disc for. The people are crazy.
It's funny because that is such a nonsensical thing that gamers have made sense of in their head that's fine, but other people haven't. And when Evil Dead game came out, they sent this Evil Dead care package over, and I like the game, but I'm not the biggest Evil Dead fan. But I know one man is, and his name's Michael Rosenbaum. And so I sent it to Mike, and Michael sent me back a text like, "This is amazing, Mom." He's like, "But the case didn't have the game in it." I'm like, "Oh, yeah, that's just how it is now, Michael Rosenbaum. They don't do that. That's just how it works."
Enjoy that case. I think the steelbook collector. That's nuts to me, because some of those things were just like, here's a Watch Dogs steelbook, it's $3 at Best Buy. Like, they're not like that limited, they're not that interesting, but it's just this really strange thing to include. God of War is a really like another one of those weird ones for me. It was just like, okay, like you're telling me I should buy the digital for just at some point you're just selling merchandise. At some point you're just like stuff next to the
Here's
Funko
a fan
Pops.
pack. It's just a fan pack.
Exactly. Just like put that out and sell it with no game, period, and let people get the game how they want to get the game, and whether it's physical or digital, and be done with it. But to have an empty case, then I feel like people will want to fill that case up and have to go out and buy a physical copy of God of War to put in the steelbook. It's weird.
It's very weird.
Yeah.
Speaking of weird, number 6, and Gio Corsi is a weird man, and he's joining Iron Galaxy. That's right, friend of the show, former PlayStation and now former Ilphonic person. Gio Corsi tweeted yesterday, after a great adventure at Ilphonic and an amazing summer for myself, I'm pleased to announce that today I started Iron Galaxy as their new head of commercial. Big things cooking up and some good times ahead. See you in Grapple City. Of course, Grapple City, a reference to Rumbleverse, the game I love and Iron Galaxy makes. So I did immediately tweet at Gio and tell him, let's get on the phone, because there's a lot of costumes you need. I don't understand why aren't there goddamn glasses in this game?
Yeah, the cosmetic situation. Like in a wrestling game, you want to make wrestlers that look like the wrestlers you know and love. That's the create a wrestler thing. So
I bought that when they put up that Stone Cold vest. That's just a vest, but I bought that. I'm like, I know you're gonna keep giving. I'm still waiting on a goatee, of course, for Stone Cold.
Of course, I got the Legion of Doom spiked pauldrons week 1 and all that sort of stuff. But I think you're kind of bearing the lead here, because this is really exciting, because what this means: Rumbleverse on Vita.
Yes, finally.
Finally, we've been the list has been built. Hashtag the list has been built.
It's all come together. The long con is over. We'll finally get there and be ready to go.
I feel like the last time Gio Corsi turned a phone towards me in any sort of way, it was because he was showing me screenshots of Star Wars 1313 that he just had on his phone years after the game had been canceled. He's like, no, I still keep them on here. Because it's such a shame that this game got killed that I was working on. And
Gio's the best.
He really is. Just great.
Congratulations, Gio. Jeff, are you still playing Rumbleverse? Are you still having a good time with that?
I have not played as much as I would like, because there's just been other stuff coming out. And for whatever reason, I decided I was going to play Saints Row front to back. Oof. And I had to know.
How is it? Is it bad or is it?
It's well, the bad part is that it's just kind of broken and buggy and all that sort of stuff. But like, even when those bugs get fixed, it's just a very middling story, a very middling game, just very generic, like not very good. But yeah, I love Rumbleverse. I was fortunate enough to play some of it before it came out and check out a little bit of that game over time, and it's been exciting to see it come out. But also the thing that happened is like people got really fucking good at it really fast, and so now when I do dive back into it, like all the dumb tricks that I thought I had, like everyone knows that shit now, and I'm just done. So it's been rough getting back into it, but yeah,
I was super addicted coming back from vacation and playing it nonstop. And then I did that creator tournament on Friday when I was like, none of these creators haven't even played as much, but they're all just kids who play multiplayer games all the time, and I just got destroyed. And I was like, Then I played Immortality all weekend long and had a good time. But even now, it's like I'm moving on to the next review, and it's like I want to play Rumbleverse, but now it's that question of like, how good will I ever be? Will I, you know what I mean? Am I always going to just be mid card? And that's fine. I don't mind that. All right.
That game is so about moments. Like that's the best battle royale games aren't about you winning. It's about you having that one moment that you go like, yeah, sure I lost like 5 games in a row or whatever, but I sure did spear this guy off the top of a skyscraper out of the arena into the water, and we both died, and that made the whole thing worthwhile because it was so hilarious. Like that game just has really great moment to moment stuff in it that helps it stand out, and that's the thing that keeps me coming back to it. It's like, yeah, I'm gonna get worked, and yeah, there's always gonna be someone who guesses right while I'm guessing wrong on every single wake up and all that stuff.
Yeah,
But
every time that they dodge my special, but somehow catch me with their special,
Exactly.
I'm like, motherfucker, how
Exactly.
but I want
Exactly.
more. I'll be back. Don't you worry.
It's really good. It's really good.
Jeff, I can't wait to play more Rumbleverse and see how the game evolves over time, but that's so far away. If I wanted something more immediate, say what came to the mom and grop shops, where would I go?
You would go to the official list of upcoming software across each and every platform as listed by the Kinda Funny Games Daily Show hosts each and every weekday.
Yeah! Always a terrifying moment when I get to the segue and I'm like, fuck, I did not prep the guests for this. Do they know? Do they remember? Shit. Out today, Adventure Academia, The Fractured Continent on PC, 9 Noir Lives on PC, Monochrome Mobius, I almost said Morbius, Rights and Wrongs Forgotten on PC, Trail Out on PC, and then 1440p support, gameless, and new social features all roll out to PlayStation 5 players. Is it Discord? No. New dates for you. Spider Heck brings lightsabers and arachnid parkour to PC and console September 22nd. Art of Rally Indonesia update is coming September 22nd. Gungrave Gore is coming day one to Xbox Game Pass on November 22nd.
A new Gungrave game. That's so crazy.
Why not? Just keep them coming.
Yeah, at this point, yeah.
Folk Hero Adventure, The Excavation of Hobbs Barrow comes out on Steam and GOG on September 28th. Deals of the day for you. Escape Academy is on sale right now as part of the PlayStation Indie sale. You can pick it up for 20% off, and I adored that game. Great time with that game.
Cool game.
Yeah, right. I may have a DLC plan too, or
season pass, all that stuff. Yeah,
looking forward to
more escape rooms.
Hell yeah.
I think they're playing.
And then there's an Assassin's Creed sale currently on the US PSN. Looks like what? Valhalla for 67% off, 80% off Assassin's Creed Odyssey. Get on it. 85 for Origins. Yeah, there's a lot of stuff going on here. That's good.
That's like $11 or something for like 800 hours of video game.
You could get all of these games and buy nothing else until the PlayStation 6.
$9 for a very nice 40-hour open world game, Assassin's Creed Origins. Not too long, not too big.
Yeah. Then it started. It was an exponential growth kind of thing,
right?
Yeah. Jeff, we asked people watching live on twitch.tv/kindoffunnygames to go to kindoffunny.com/you're wrong and tell us what we screw up as we screw it up, so we can set the record straight for everybody watching later on youtube.com/kindoffunnygames, rootstreet.com, podcast services around the globe. This isn't a wrong. Kebabs wants to be on the show. Too bad, Kebabs. Get out of here. You're not hosting the show. You don't get to just come in and just editorialize. All right, we're not gonna have it. We're not gonna do it. Yeah, that's right. Tomorrow it's gonna be me and Tim hosting this show. Friday, it's going to be Tim and me hosting the show. Why? Why No More Blessing? Remember, he's getting ready to go host that D23 games thing. He's hosting the video games, the Disney. He's hosting stuff. We'll be live reacting to it for D23 this week as he does his thing and does that. Remember, I'm hosting the GameSpot mobile game showcase Swipe tomorrow. It's actually, I think, counter programming our show. So you should have both open or watch one on demand or whatever. You'll figure it out. But it's happening on GameSpot.com. Jeff, where can people keep up with you?
They can keep up with me on Twitter at Jeff Gertsmann, but they can go to patreon.com/Jeff Gertsmann. You get an ad-free version of the podcast. There's additional bonus content. I've been inducting games into the Jeff Gertsmann Hall of Fame.
That's awesome.
Where the most recent addition is Bruce Lee for the Commodore 64, a game that is sick.
Why haven't you been putting them up on the wall behind you? You should put them up on the doors, just the printout of them, like there they are. The box art hangs.
That's not the worst idea in the world, but yeah, when I get the studio built out in the side yard, then maybe we'll have just an LED wall behind it that can scroll that box art. Real fancy stuff.
I love it. Well, of course, your time's not done. You're gonna hang out. We're gonna record a post show where we're gonna answer a question from the one and only Mark. I was hoping I was blind jumping. I was like, it's gonna be somebody we know, just Mark.
My friend Mark.
Mark wrote in and said, did Halo Infinite trick us into thinking it launched properly? We'll talk about that in the post show that you can get over on patreon.com/kindoffunnygames. Of course, Kind of Funny Games Daily comes to you each and every weekday. And if you want to go that extra mile to support us, you can go to patreon.com/kindoffunnygames to get the show ad free, to get it with the post show, to be able to write in, to get all these benefits for Gamescast, where you can watch us record that live. P.S. I love you. Me and Jan are recording, watch it live tomorrow. Xcast, which was yesterday. Get all those shows ad free and their post shows and all that jazz on patreon.com/kindoffunnygames. Just like patreon.com youtube.com/Jeff Gertsmann, where you can go get all of Jeff's content and have some
Yeah.
fun over there too. If you don't want to pay us any money, though, I totally get it. youtube.com/kindoffunnygames, roosterteeth.com, podcast services around the globe each and every weekday. You can watch us record the show live on twitch.tv/kindoffunnygames. We had a great time over on YouTube, but we're back on Twitch, so make sure you're watching over there. If you have Amazon Prime, you have gaming, Twitch, you have Prime Gaming, which used to be Twitch Prime. You got a free sub, give it to us, yada, yada, yada. You know all this stuff. I don't have to say it a million
I
times.
know all this stuff.
Use the Epic creator code. Kind of funny when you're playing Rumbleverse, when you're beating up on me and Jeff, when you're waiting for them to drop really cool outfits or whatever. But for now, post-show time. So if you're not coming with us, hang out here on twitch.tv/kindoffunnygames, where Andy's going to try to get himself out of this hole. Andy dug him a hole. He's going to be creating characters all day long. It's going to be like an elf in Santa's workshop, just all day long, slaving away on this stuff. You can watch that. You can catch it later, youtube.com/kindoffunnyplays. But until next time, it's been our pleasure to serve you.